Hey there, sailor. Ahoo!
Hi?
You got some deathroot?
What?
Come on, throw a dog a bone.
Are you coming on to me?
Don't be flattered. It's not you, it's the plant.
Oh, okay.
Ladies, gentlemen, and tarnished of all ages, one of my favorite schools of magic in this game are the Beast Incantations. They are quite odd and unique in the way that they interact with the world, most notably as the only type of incantation that deals physical damage. Which means that while you can't increase its damage with something like a Scorpion Talisman like you can all of the elemental magic types, you can increase it with things that normally have no effect on magic at all, like the Blood Boil Aromatic, for example. This style of incantation is incredibly underutilized in the community at large, and while you do quite frequently see people with something like Beastial Sling equipped to finish people off in PvP, I rarely, if ever, see anyone using these incantations to their full potential, or as their main weapon. So today I'm going to show you how to get the absolute most out of Beastial Sling, Stone of Gurranq, Beastclaw, and Gurranq's Beastclaw, because when you know how to use them, well, it just gets sorta silly.
Are these rocks?
Not just any rocks. Pocket rocks. You keep them in your pockets. They only work in your pockets. That's how you know you got pocket rocks. Happy birthday!
So, let's start with the thing that you can really get more out of than any of the other ones, Beastial Sling. You may be looking at me on screen right now and thinking, how on earth is he casting it that fast? I don't cast it that fast. And the answer is, you don't. No. How? First up, I'm at the cast speed cap in the game, which is either 70 dexterity or 40 dexterity with the Radagon's Icon Talisman, which boosts your cast speed for an effective 30 dex. But that isn't the only difference here. No! Look at this clip. On the right side is normally casting the incantation in one hand with maximum cast speed. On the left, well, that's the real neat part of this incantation. If you have one seal in each hand and alternate casts of Beastial Sling between hands, rather than comboing over and over and over again with one hand, the speed actually increases a significant amount. Both of these are casting the incantation 10 times in the same clip, and the one on the left finishes way sooner. Of course, for this to be at maximum effectiveness, you need it to be 2 Clawmark Seals, rather than just 2 seals of any kind, and to get that, you'll either need to reach the beginning of New Game Plus, or get a friend to drop you their original Clawmark Seal. Either way, the result is if you correctly time alternating casts as quickly as you can, you'll just cast this incantation faster than anyone who doesn't use this same trick. On top of this, as I mentioned before, Blood Boil Aromatic can affect all beast incantations, and because the way we are talking about using the sling involves nothing but 2 seals, our weight load is also incredibly low. So why not also take off your clothes and use the Blue Dancer Charm Talisman, which raises your overall attack power the lower that your weight is. The result is a lot of damage incredibly fast, and you'll struggle to find anyone who can just effectively put up with it. Hell, it is especially funny in PvP, where someone sees you walking around without armor on and assumes you're a free kill, until you stagger lock them until they're dead. For your other 2 talisman slots, you want to use both the Faithful and Flock's Canvas Talisman, which boost your incantation damage by 4 and 8% respectively. By a mile, this combination of things makes the Beastial Sling the strongest individual beast incantation. But that is not to say that the others aren't comparable at all, they just don't benefit from anything as silly as a cast speed increase from double fisting the seals. But what this allows you to do is even more interesting. There is a dagger in the game called the Cinquedea. This is located behind the Bestial Sanctum itself, which you can get down to after a fairly lengthy bit of parkour from the main structure. But once you reach the bottom and get this dagger, you'll notice that it boosts beast incantations by 10%, which is the same bonus that you get from having the Clawmark Seal equipped. In other words, unless you are alternating casts between hands, it is technically better to have the dagger in your offhand, as it offers the same percentage bonus, while also giving you a nice, easy melee option without having to switch out your weapon at all. And because you only need to use one seal for this incantation, you can actually play with another interesting mechanic of specifically the Clawmark Seal. Because it scales with strength as well as faith, if you two-hand this seal, your incantation scaling will go up significantly, as two-handing a weapon increases your effective strength by 50%, and that does in fact affect this seal too, as it scales with strength. As well, when two-handing a weapon, you still get the passive effect of your other equipped weapon, and so for the Stone of Gurranq, Beastclaw, and Gurranq's Beastclaw incantations, the most effective way to cast them is actually to two-hand one seal while you have the dagger on your back, as weird as it looks to two-hand a seal.
Why are you holding on to me?
When it comes to the Stone of Gurranq, then, there is no unique thing that makes it necessarily stronger than the setup that I already mentioned for Beastial Sling. It is even arguable that cast speed is good enough for this that the Radagon icon is still a good choice of a fourth talisman. However, if you want to change things up a little bit, you can instead run the Ritual Sword talisman with this for a 10% bonus when you're at full health, which actually makes a bit more sense with this specific incantation as the range on it is sort of insane. You can throw it from extremely far away as long as your aim is right, and so it is far easier to stay at a safe range with full health than with most other incantations. As well, I didn't mention it before because Blood Boil is a stronger damage buff, but as these are physical damage, they are also affected by Flame Grant Me Strength, the incantation that buffs both fire and physical damage. So make the decision for yourself which of Flame Grant Me Strength and the Blood Boil aromatic that you want to use, as they don't stack with each other. Blood Boil is a 10% stronger buff, but also makes you take 25% increased damage for the duration, so make that decision based on how comfortable you are with the situation at hand. As far as using this incantation, just be aware that it can be spammed extremely fast if you just keep hitting it, as the way that it combos with itself is built to make it essentially just work as your main damage source, and only runs out when you run out of stamina, because you'll run out of stamina way faster than mana with this, and unsurprisingly, it really can be used as a main damage source as a result. If you want to be focused around entirely beast incantations, this one will be your bread and butter and rock. Beastial Sling set up the way that we talked about earlier is incredible, but has its niche where it truly shines. Stone of Gurranq doesn't quite reach the same heights, however it is extremely strong in just about any given situation, and that of course gives it its own significant value. On to the last two incantations then, these function extremely similarly. Beastclaw is a charged incantation where you lower your arm into the ground, then when you pull it up, a number of lines go out in front of you in a cone. Unfortunately, even though it would be awesome if it did work this way, it doesn't do more damage if you hit more than one of the lines. The whole attack is realistically just one shared hitbox, rather than being counted as multiple different projectiles. So while your initial instinct is probably to use this right up in someone's face like a shotgun, in reality the most effective way that you can use it is to memorize the maximum range and then fire it off from there on repeat, creating a cone of death in front of you if anyone tries to approach. In a similar vein, Gurranq's Beastclaw fires out these same lines in a full circle around you instead of a frontal cone, and at a shorter range. The result is about the same, but with the traveling less distance part. Essentially, you would use these two incantations the exact same way, with this one being better when you are unsure of the angle you're about to be attacked from, or if you are being surrounded by a larger group of enemies. However, as I mentioned before, both of these are actually charged incantations, and so you can replace your Radagon Talisman when focusing on these instead with the Godfrey Icon Talisman to raise the damage of charged skills and spells by 15%. Or if you prefer the safety of having loads of cast speed and want to keep the Radagon icon, you can instead just swap out your Faithful Canvas Talisman to exchange a 4% buff for a 15% buff. Now that you have all of this knowledge and all of the pieces to make it come together, you too can experience the beast incantations in the way that I have, in a way that can take out the entire game without ever having to delve into another school of magic or even really a weapon. A magic build that does physical damage, and at quite a decent range too for the most part, which makes it capable of throwing certain fights on their head. A lot of the time that an enemy has significant elemental resistances, they are weak to physical, and if you bust out physical magic, it tends to really mess up those specific enemies more than anything else. But really, this was all just for the purpose of showing you exactly how to make the most out of beast incantations, and telling you that it is a totally viable and incredibly strong build to use nothing outside of these beast incantations, whether it be through regular use of all of the incantations or even just focusing on the Beastial Sling like I have here, dual wielding seals and alternating cast to maximize the cast speed and just absolutely shredding things at close range like a machine gun with a glued down trigger. And that just about covers it, everyone. I hope you've learned something today, and if not, congratulations, you were already worthy of wielding these incantations.
I am the Beastmaster.
Like if you like the video, subscribe with the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.